Welcome, friends, and namaste. I always find it pretty amazing how so often one person can request something and I'll teach it, and a number of people are like, oh my gosh, I needed that so much. Or I have something going on in my life, and so I teach more to that, for what's happening with my body. And again, so often people will say, gosh, I needed that so much. And so we've been pretty mellow. I've been very depleted and having various things. And with the restorative, we've been doing a little gentle movement and then adding the restorative. And I've had two different people um, request restorative practices. And so this is just a pose. And I talk a lot about spontaneous Shavasana. I'm talking a lot before this one, but spontaneous Shavasanas. And I really do believe, especially when we're the busiest, just taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just laying down, come home, put the groceries on the counter, don't put them away yet. Go lay down for 5 or 10 minutes and then come back. And the more I do this, I've been doing this now for a number of years and adding it in more and more because of how beneficial it is. So we're going to prop it up today. If you don't have props, that's okay. I've got a bolster, or it could be a blanket that's going to go underneath my thighs, my knees. I have one that's going to go under my back. We've been doing that chest opener lately. Some people prefer something higher when I'm doing gentle stuff for my body. My body prefers to not have quite as large of an opening. I have something under my head, and it's a little chilly in this room. So I'm going to give myself the gift of a snuggly blanket over top of my legs and a little bit of my body. So I put my legs over the bolster. I'm going to pull this other bolster into my low back. I don't want to sit on it, but I want it right in front of it. And then lying back over that setup, some people prefer to have a little bit of a boost under their head here. So have a pillow or a blanket or some such thing. Be inventive. You have everything you need at your house. Don't be like, I don't have the props. I can't do this. Yeah, you do. You'd be surprised when I go work with people in their private residence. I find all kinds of things we can use, right? So once I am in this position, if I need to make adjustments, I do. I like to lift my hips and kind of set them back down and recalibrate. I personally don't like extra height under my head, so I'm going to lower mine a little bit more to my liking. And then let those arms come into Shavasana. Now, if you're just on the ground, you could always bring your hands back on your body. You could even on the bolster. It's a little harder with that setup and the shoulders rolling down. Make any little adjustments that you need. But once you kind of feel like you have your adjustments made and you're in a place that is comfortable, where you feel safe, lock the door if you need to. Look around the room and ensure your nervous system, everything is okay in this room. Start to settle into stillness. Now, that might be a hard transition depending on your day, right? Depending on your life. But I find one tool that's really helpful is to move my mind by scanning my body. Then it's not just a complete from 60 to 0, right? So bring your awareness into your forehead and your eyebrows, the muscles around the eyes. Soften your jaw and your tongue, the inside of the mouth. Soften the front of the chest, let the shoulders open and roll down around the bolster. And then let that trickle down, that softness through the shoulders, through the upper arms, the elbows, the lower arms, wrists, hands, and fingers. Tune into your chest and your upper back. And let that move on down to that middle rib cage area. Feel those props underneath you supporting you. Just scan through that middle ribs and the belly and the low back. That blanket coming up to support the low back here in its natural curve. Soften into the base of the pelvis. Tune into your hips. Upper legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, feet, and toes. Letting that body just widen as it softens. It widens down into the floor, into the props. When I'm done scanning, I often go back and I do that again. It's amazing to me how often muscles that I softened will already be tense again. But again, depending on the day, if my mind is really busy and having a hard time settling, I'll just continue to scan the whole time. If your mind is feeling pretty calm, you might just work with open awareness. Let the thoughts come in as they will, as they do. And just like white clouds that move across the blue sky, let the thoughts move back out, right across the sky. And then maybe there's a little bit of blue sky for just a little bit before the next cloud comes in. On the days that I can gift myself more time, if I'm starting to feel any sense of being settled or calm, I'll try to stay here even longer than my timer, or for you, it's this video, right? Feel free to just stay here on the ground. But if you do have a time constraint, don't get up yet. We're going to say namaste from here, but then your practice will end now. And before we say namaste, I will just one more time say, if you can start to do this, oh my gosh, I mean, I wish I could get to the place. I'm working towards getting to the place of doing this at least once a day. One of the best things you can do for your body. Your palms together at your heart, just right here on the ground, your back on the ground, on the props. Namaste, my friends.